Let's just quickly run you through some opinion now. We have Mark Matthews joining in of Bank Julius Baer and Company. Mark, great to have you with us here on the program. Good morning. Let's just start with this Nvidia business overnight. How important, I mean, it's at the heart of this AI global theme. How important are the earnings going to be for markets, in your opinion?
Exceptionally important. And I can give you a little idea of what they might look at, because I think the two main things to look at are the orders that Nvidia has been giving to Taiwan Semiconductor, which makes Nvidia's GPUs, and then how are the suppliers of Nvidia doing? And so what I can tell you is, as of the end of June, Nvidia's purchasing commitments to Taiwan Semi were up 175% year on year. So that's a very good number. It's probably gone up since then. And then as far as the suppliers go, one important one is called Fabrinet. They make optical cables for NVIDIA. And their data communications business was up 120% year on year in their second quarter results. And they said the third quarter will be significantly stronger. So I think that NVIDIA will come through with very good actual second quarter numbers and guidance. But I must say that our fair value price target for the stock is $135 per share, which is only $8 higher than where it is now. $7, excuse me.
Okay. Mark, hi. Good to be speaking with you this morning. I was just looking at the NASDAQ. Fantastic run, right? 30% in the last 1 year, last 12 months. And I was wondering, it's tough to beat that kind of performance. But then, hey, I forgot. I checked out our very own Nifty 50 here in India. And guess what? The Nifty is also up 30% in the last 1 year. So it's been a phenomenal ride for equity markets around the world. But on U.S. technology, whatever NVIDIA says or doesn't say or delivers or doesn't deliver today, I mean, there's been some sector rotation out, but it's not become very definitive as yet. Do you expect any major portfolio changes, or do you expect this tech rally to last, into the end of the year as well?
We expect the technology sector to continue to outperform. And the key will be that over the next 6 months, the big players, the Magnificent Seven, start to monetize artificial intelligence. Well, clearly NVIDIA has already done that, but we'd like to see it from Microsoft, Google, Facebook, etc. Now, we think that is going to happen. We think they will be showing very material pickup in actual profits from artificial intelligence. And by the way, I think you could say the same for the entire U.S. corporate sector, maybe not over the next 6 months, but over the next 12 months. We're going to see a lot of real stories of AI helping businesses become more efficient. That's our belief. And if that's true, then I think that the technology sector continues to do well. I do acknowledge what you're saying, that there has been some rotation into more cyclical sectors like financials, like real estate. But the structural growth of the technology sector, we believe, is still going to remain very strong, and therefore it's still where we would want to have the bulk of our portfolios invested.
Hi, Mark. Good morning and good to see you. What do you make of the growth market, that's the Indian market, in comparison to the value market, the Chinese market? It's trading at reasonable valuations, but there's a toss-up now, between India as well as China. Which side are you leaning in the near term? In the longer term, I'm sure it's India, but in the near term?
It is India. Near term, I must confess that I thought this was going to be a good year for China, and it's not panning out to be that way. But we're only in August, and I still think it could be a good year. Or perhaps if you extend that a few months into 2025, things will start to turn out very well for China. The Chinese market is incredibly cheap. So big stocks like Alibaba, Tencent, JD.com, those kind of things, Pinduoduo now, because it sold off quite a lot. They're on around 7, 8, 9 times forward price earnings. And the thing is that, they probably won't go back to the kind of multiples that they were on before, or the kind of multiple that India trades at today, because of this political overlay in China called common prosperity. And the big companies are reluctant to show a lot of earnings growth for fear that, that'll show that they're taking away market share from mom and pops or becoming too wealthy. You know what I mean? So the earnings growth is probably going to be only around 10% per year for those kind of companies. But if they're already trading at 7 or 8 times, then in my mind, they're too cheap. And I see one potential big upside for China, which is that if Donald Trump is the next president, I think he wants to make a deal with China, a trade deal with China, which would basically involve the Chinese making electric vehicles in the United States. And the Chinese reacted to the 2016 tariffs with anger and arrogance. This time, I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll make the deal.
Instead of making it in Mexico and then shipping it over, right? I mean, but there's of course also all sorts of talks about tariffs, and maybe it's a starting point in negotiations, right? 60% tariffs, even higher, we've heard, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, has there been any fresh polling, with after Robert Kennedy Jr. threw his support for Trump, or no,
Yes.
None yet?
Yes, there has. The most important thing is the Electoral College. That's how the vote's determined. And the person who does the best work there is a gentleman named Nate Silver. And since RFK Jr. dropped out, he actually has Trump in the lead for the Electoral College. Apologies, I don't remember what it was. It just came out yesterday, but he's in a slight lead now, whereas prior to RFK Jr. dropping out, Kamala had been in the lead.
Okay. All right. By the way, Mark, I just want to make it's just a sort of announcement for our viewers as well. We usually wake up in the morning and get fed headlines, right? Some FOMC members speaking overnight. We have Christopher Waller here in Mumbai. There's a big summit happening, and he's going to be in conversation with a senior official from the RBI. It's a fireside chat. So I think we could get a headline in the next 2 hours out of Mumbai here, BKC. So he's known to move markets, right? I mean, more indicative of policy. He speaks less, but I think makes more of an impact when he does. Mark?
Yes, that's right. He certainly doesn't mind expressing his views, and important person. And so it'll be very interesting to see what he says out of Mumbai. I look forward to listening to that.
All right, no, absolutely. So that's the big sort of name here. There are many big faces, of course, at the FinTech Summit, which is happening here in Mumbai. And we'll, of course, get you a lot of them. Mark, great to speak with you. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it here on CNBC TV18.